All right. Hello, hello, everyone. This is a fun video I'm excited to do here with Erica. We're doing interview style. Erica and I met online and we both connected on teaching online. I think that that's kind of where we first originally probably connected. And we're going to share her story, what she does, how she got into it, and hopefully to help those that are listening just to learn options for working from home or working while you're traveling. You have a cool story of traveling while working online. So I'm excited for us to hear your story. So let's get started. Erica, let us know a little bit about you. Who are you? And what do you do?
All right, a little bit about me. I am originally from New York City. I have been teaching English for almost 7 years online. I actually I actually didn't go to school for education. I was an accountant before. And at around the same time that I realized that accounting really wasn't for me, I also took my first couple trips. I spent a couple summers in Europe, and I kind of just traveled until I ran out of money, and then came home to work a little bit and save for my next trip. And during my second trip, I thought, I don't want to go home. How can I make this work? How can I make money while traveling? And that's how I kind of stumbled upon teaching. I asked around if anyone knew of anything I can do remotely. And a friend referred me to VIP Kid, and they hired me. And then from that moment on, I didn't stop traveling. So I sold everything. I left the US, and for about 5 years, I was kind of living the digital nomad lifestyle.
Yeah. What year was it that you started teaching at VIP Kid?
So I started at in 2015.
Mm, oh, that's the same year I started. That's so fun. I feel like we were kind of the pioneers there. Like it
That
wasn't
was
as well known in 2015. I started that same year. Maybe I started after you. I think I started January of 2016, actually. So maybe mine was after. You were
I was
2015. How
right
did
before
you,
October to
oh,
2015.
really? How did
Yeah.
you find it? Like, how did you find that initial teaching online job with VIP Kid?
So I actually put a post on Facebook, just asking if anyone knew anything I could do online for work. And a friend of mine that I used to work with here in New York referred me. I
Oh, so
applied.
that's how you connected with your
Yeah.
friend telling you. That's so fun. Okay. And then fast forward. So you taught online with VIP Kid, and then what happened? And you were traveling full time. Are you currently traveling? Are you currently still teaching? What does your work look like today?
The last couple years, especially since COVID, I kind of slowed down a bit. I've been mostly back in the US, with just shorter trips kind of mixed in. Also in the last couple of years, because I've been mostly in the US, I was getting tired of waking up at 3, 4 a.m. to teach the kiddos in China. So I wanted to add more daytime hours, and get on a more normal schedule. And so I started teaching other students from different countries, and making my own materials and teaching privately in the last few years. And then last year, I realized that well, now I have different students from different countries all over the world, and I thought, how cool would it be if I grouped them together, and they get to learn about different countries and the cultures of the world, make new friends, international friends, while learning English. So it kind of combined my love of travel and connecting with people and connecting people, and teaching together, because now I could bring that experience that I love about traveling, which is connecting with people and learning about different cultures of the world to young children from all around the world. So that's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm focusing um, is forming these small groups.
Love it. I love that your passions can and the things that you value, travel, experiences, and connecting with people across the world, that can pour into a personal brand in what you do on your own. So cool. So with yours, and yours is called Teaching Across the World, correct? What's your
English across the world.
English across the world? Yeah, English across the world. And can you explain just a little bit more on what that looks like? Is it like I have a group of students, I do one-on-one teaching? I know what, like, as you transitioned to independent teaching, what did you create? What does it currently look like? Because I know that they always change. It might look like one-on-one, it might be group, it might change, but what is it right now?
Yeah, I'm focusing more on small groups. So the groups are usually 2 to 3 students.
Mhm.
And I set my classes up like so that we have almost half the class for conversational English practice. So I encourage my students to share a lot in class, share what they're working on, something they've made, something they're interested in, their experiences. Because I find that, especially in the groups, when the kids feel more comfortable and they share things that they're interested in, it makes them want to talk more, and that's what they're there for, right? To practice their speaking English. And then the other half, I usually follow a more structured curriculum, because I want to make sure that they're also learning new vocabulary and perfecting their grammar rules and their pronunciation and reading and all that as well.
So good. And
Yeah.
originally when you transitioned to, okay, I have my own business and and I've created this brand and I'm teaching my own students. How did you initially get those students? Because I know a lot of whatever the job is, whether it's coaching or teaching, that transition from I'm a 1099 contractor with a company and they find my students or my clients to now I'm doing the marketing and finding my own. And how did how did that start? Like, how did you get those first students?
So my first students were students that I kept in touch with from VIP Kid and referrals from them. And then I started teaching with a platform called Preply. And that's how I connected with a lot of students from different countries. And I guess I continued teaching them privately through Preply, but I offered as an additional class to try the group. So a lot of those students joined my group sessions from there. Also, I connected with some teachers from different.
Okay, I had to pause this real fast because my son popped in. But Erica, you were explaining on how you connected with other teachers. So can you continue explaining that?
Yeah, I connected with teachers from different countries through some Facebook groups. And these teachers had a lot of students that wanted extra help with their English. So we worked together. They send me some students as well.
Yeah, it makes such a difference just to network and connect with, like, one teacher might be an expert in reading or one might be an expert in connecting students. So it's nice to be known as the expert. Like, is that why you are kind of the expert in ESL and specifically with kids around the world? Is that kind of where you branched out or niched down, as they would say?
Yeah, recently, yeah. A lot of the teachers also were looking for native English speakers because the kids had English lessons in school, but the parents maybe wanted some extra lessons with a native speaker to maybe work more on pronunciation, things like that. So.
Yeah, so cool. So what does it look like right now as you're building your brand? And you recently started a YouTube channel, which is so exciting. YouTube is my jam, and I've been helping you with that, which I absolutely love YouTube. Kind of what is the vision for where you're going? It can be for work or a big vision for life? Like, where are you planning to to move forward with? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm really getting into YouTube and recording content, which I really was not comfortable with in the beginning. It took me many months to kind of get over being on camera and the idea of it. But yeah, I'm focusing on my YouTube channel at the moment, and I really want to grow that. And I guess my vision is to form a community of young learners from many different countries all over the world, and help like spark that interest in the English language and in meeting others and learning about cultures in different countries and all that.
Yeah. It's so nice to hear like the overall objectives. I want to connect young learners and build a community of young learners. And with YouTube, let's chat about that for a second. So when you said took me months to get comfortable with YouTube, this is something that I coach on frequently. We call it imposter syndrome or fear of failing or fear of what people will think of me. And so many of us go through it, myself included. And I love teaching like failing in front of people. The more we can fail and fail faster, the quicker we can learn and the more like we can progress towards those goals. Because how often do we, for months, stay stuck or avoid something because of fear or just like getting comfortable with the uncomfortable? So I remember when we did a coaching call, you were doing your videos and you said, I decided just to teach. I feel comfortable with the kids. And I thought that was such a beautiful aha of I taught a lesson. And that video, I think, is your top performer, right? I teach a lesson in there. Is that, yeah. And
One of
you,
yeah.
yeah, you feel comfortable. It's one that people are attracted to that video. They're like, oh, we can use this as a lesson as well. And that's truly with YouTube is you kind of you test out different things and just I like to think of when you're starting, just plan to not be the best at it. It's kind of like someone learning soccer. If they're like, I will know how to play soccer on day one, they
Mhm.
won't. They'll struggle. They'll fall. I like to watch kids with this, like a child learning to walk. They fall so many times, and it's not like, oh, I can never do this. It's just I fail, I fail, I fail faster, and then I'm walking. And so, as adults, I think it's just so healthy for us to do the thing that's scary, YouTube,
Mhm.
and and practice it. What have you learned from doing YouTube in the time that you've started it, created your channel, and started doing videos? What have you learned?
Um, yeah, just like you said, it's like anything else. You get more comfortable and you get better at it with practice. Like in my head, it was always like, I'm not good in front of a camera. I'm uncomfortable. I'm awkward. All these thoughts and doubts. And I just didn't realize that, like everything, it's something that you get better at. Yes, sure, maybe some people are naturally more comfortable in front of a camera, but it's also something that gets easier with time. Um, and yeah, I thought of in the beginning, I started with making content for like Instagram and Facebook, like short videos, reels. And I was kind of talking about the program and who I am. And it was very uncomfortable for me because I'm not really big on social media. Well, before I wasn't really big on social media, especially videos. But yeah, like you said, then I realized, wait, I am comfortable on camera when I'm teaching. And that's what people are looking for anyway. A lot of people are looking for on social media is valuable content, things they can learn from or their children can learn from. So when I realized that, yeah, it's definitely my aha moment, and I'm focusing more on that now. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
been
do the
fun.
same thing. I think we all kind of probably, I think about like playing the piano. If I'm accompanying someone, I'm like, oh no, if I make a mistake, and then I get in my head and I make more mistakes because I'm so worried about myself. But if I think, I bet they can enjoy beautiful music, and I start thinking about who I'm talking to, just like you said, the value that I create and the community I'm creating, when I start thinking about them, it's almost as if like this load is lifted and I'm able to more freely practice and yeah, not stop myself because I'm thinking about who I'm helping rather than myself. Yeah, so good. Well, when you I want to kind of look at, is there a specific moment, we were talking a little bit about failing and failing faster. Is there a moment or a story or a time that you can think of when you feel like this is a complete failure? Whether it's in life or in your own business or in teaching, just one that you feel like you learned from. I love to celebrate failures and normalize them. As kids, we grow up like failing is bad. Don't get a failing grade on your test. And I just want to celebrate failing is so good. It allows us to learn and to create that story around failing. So, is there a failure that you've had that you've learned from?
I don't know about failure, but I think something that I've definitely learned from that was a challenge in the beginning is time management when teaching and trying to adjust this lifestyle of teaching and traveling. Um, and I guess so I traveled a bit before I started teaching, and it was new to me, so of course I wanted to see all the places and do all the things. So I was moving around. I was a new city every day, every other day. And I tried to continue that when I was like, oh, now I'm teaching, I can keep living this lifestyle. But it doesn't work like that when you're working and traveling. You got to slow down, and you got to make sure you're prepared and plan better. And yeah, it just got really stressful, like being late, maybe missing a couple classes, and because of Wi-Fi situation in the new place, or a delay for some reason. And yeah, it just did not work out. And just time management in general with like scheduling. I feel like sometimes I overbook myself as well. And I would just teach for 4 hours. 4 hours doesn't sound like much when you're thinking about working 4 hours, but to sit in front of the computer and you're constantly talking for 4 hours without even a minute to have a snack or use the bathroom or anything you need, gets very stressful and tiring as well. So I kind of learned a lot from those experiences and like planning my schedule better, I guess, and managing my time a little better.
Yes, those are, I wrote down, you said I learned to slow down because what it looked like before, it doesn't look the same as it does now. And just to plan things, organize them. And that's truly, I feel like I had a similar experience where I'm working from home. I have 3 kids I'm raising, and just finding the balance where there's been moments when I'm overwhelmed. And the same thing, I would miss meetings or like soccer practices. And I used to beat myself up like, I'm dropping the ball everywhere. I can't do this. And it was one of those slow down, pause. What truly is, whether it's in your business, what's going to really matter, what's going to move the needle forward and allow me to reach more lives, and looking to at your own health when you're teaching for 4 hours, realizing, okay, maybe I do 2 hour blocks and take a break. I think that I call it leaving margin. So when I do my planning, I leave some margin. If something takes me 30 minutes, I'm like, I'm going to leave 45 minutes for that because there's transition time, go to the bathroom, grab a snack. And so it ends up taking 45 minutes. But I can relate to a lot of that time management. Is that something I'm working on daily? So helpful to hear, like when you're faced with it and how you handled it and learned from it. And I'm sure that we'll still constantly be learning from those things. I'm always learning how to better manage my time and my mind and all those things. So good. Well, are there any last like tips for those that are listening that maybe they are working online or they want to build a brand of their own or they're trying to balance both of them? Like any tips that you can offer those listening that are in a similar situation or want to be in the future? Maybe they want to travel full time and live that nomadic lifestyle. Is there anything that you have to offer them?
Um, yeah, so I guess for building building your own brand. I've just realized how important social media is, and putting yourself out there. I'm still building my social media, but I definitely see the importance of it, and marketing in general. I keep thinking now I'm promoting the group lessons, and I keep thinking, oh, I could have done this years ago just to promote myself, and get, you know, private students or just students in general, just with a little extra time working on the marketing or building my social media. So it's definitely important in today's world. I guess for living kind of a nomad lifestyle, well, like what I was just talking about, I definitely suggest to slow down, travel slow, stay in each place longer than you probably would think to, and definitely need more planning and preparations. I was a very spontaneous traveler. Like I used to land in cities without accommodation booked. And that just doesn't fly when you're working remotely. You know, you need to make sure you have good Wi-Fi and a comfortable desk and a comfortable area, and that you have enough time in case there's a delay or anything like that. That was definitely something I wish I thought of in the very beginning, but I've learned along the way. And yeah, just to connect to surround yourself with like-minded people, find mentors or people doing the same thing that you are, other teachers, and really learn from them. Or other digital nomads. There's a lot of Facebook groups. Sometimes it could get lonely too if you're doing it solo. So connect with others that are doing the same. That's really helped me along the way.
So good. I was writing those down. They're so good. And when you were talking about slow down and enjoy, it reminds me of teaching. Just you can graze the surface and do all the things and check all the boxes and like see all the sights. But what if you got to really dive deep and really like understand and connect with that and have a story of when you connected with someone in this specific city and how you'll remember that and that connection. So I love those tips. So good. Oh, got another one. All right, we're 2 for 3 on my kids popping in here. I have one more that might pop in. Erica's been so patient as I pause the recording. Okay, the last question I want to ask is your favorite advice that someone has given you. What is that?
So my favorite advice would have to be that it's okay to pave your own path. And that applies to everything, like in life, in business. I chose a very different lifestyle that a lot of people don't understand, and that's okay, and that works for me. And it's not going to work for everyone, but if it works for you and it makes you happy, go for it. And the same thing in business, right? You don't have to kind of just follow or copy what other people are doing. You can just make it your own and be yourself, and put that personal touch in, and yeah, give people like a little piece of you. Just show yourself and how your unique qualities and traits, and yeah, pave your own path.
I love that one. I think that's such a good one to finish on, to pave your own path, because so often we look for someone to tell us what to do. I think that's why I love your story so much, is you have gone about it. We're just going to wrap up with Jack in here. But you've gone about it in a way that works for you, and it might look different. I think if we live someone else's story, we might be resentful, or we might be unfulfilled, or feel like we're missing out, or we'll just be unhappy. So I love that pave your own path. And you really do know you're given desires that other people aren't given. So when you have that desire, your spouse might not understand it. Your family might not understand while you're traveling full time. Other people don't have to get it for it to make sense to you. So good. Okay, we'll finish there. Thank you, Erica. I'll leave
Thank you
below.
so much, Nancy.
I'll leave below how everyone can find you. I'll leave linked your channels. Is there a
Perfect.
specific website that you want to mention here in the audio portion?
Yeah, you can find more information at excuse me at www.englishacrosstheworld.com.
Awesome. And I'll leave it all linked below the video. So we're so happy you came and popped on this channel and shared your wisdom. So
Thank
fun
you.
hearing your story. I'm so attracted to your story. I think it's so fun and unique. And so, yeah, thanks for being here and sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Got it. We'll see ya.